Well, welcome to lesson 38 of Learn New Testament Greek, and this concludes a series of lessons we've been doing on the incident in John chapter 4 where Jesus meets the woman from Samaria, and the conversation is becoming very interesting at this stage, and some conclusions are reached. So let's see what happens. Verse 25, John chapter 4. Lege auto hegune oida hoti Messias erchetai holigomenos Christos. Says to him the woman, I know, again this is a perfect form with present meaning, that Messias, Messiah, so this is a Greek adaptation of a Hebrew word. It's really just copying the Hebrew word across into Greek, and we've also copied it into English, the word Messiah. Erchetai ho legomenos Christos is coming. The one who is called Christos. So this is the Greek equivalent of Messias. This is basically the Hebrew word or Aramaic word, and this is the Greek word Christos, the anointed one. Hoten elthe ekenos, when, so hote is the basic word meaning when, and it's taken on an ending. So it's like saying when or whenever. Whenever comes, and this is a subjunctive, whenever he may come, ekenos, that one, that person, anangele. So this is Anna and Angel. So Anna means again, or it's an intensifier, but here there's really no difference between this and angelo, to announce. And that's what a messenger does. So this is related to the word angel. Angel basically means messenger, someone who comes with a message, announces a message. And it's future, an irregular future. This symbol here indicates it's future, but not the normal kind of future that takes an S. But you can look this up on the reference sheet that we have, the Zondervan study guide. Heimin tuas hapanta. Now the normal form of it is panta, but it's added the ha at the beginning. It's just another form of all, maybe slightly emphatic, and it's neuter plural. He will tell us all things, everything. Lege aute ho Jesus egoimi ho lalonsoi. Says to her Jesus, I am. So this means I am him, I am he. Or in informal English we'd say, that's me. Some people say this is a claim to divinity because this is sometimes used as a translation of Yahweh, the Hebrew name for God. But here maybe this is, okay, there's a faint echo of that for a later reader to pick up. But in terms of the level of the conversation at present, it just means, that's me. The one speaking, as a participle, speaking to you. That's me, the person speaking to you. Kaepituto elthan hoimathetai autu. Upon this, at this moment, they came. Elthan is another form of erchamai, aorist, third person plural. So again, this is an irregular verb which we've met a few times in this passage. You can look it up on the back page of the reference sheet. They come, hoimathetai autu, his disciples, kai ethamadzon. So again, here's the F for past, and this is actually an imperfect. So first approximation would mean they were wondering, but in translation we'd probably just say they were amazed. They were amazed. They were surprised. Hoti, that meta with gunaikos elale, with a woman he was speaking. So again, here's the imperfect again, with the and the a ending. He was speaking. In this case, we would translate it as an imperfect. He was speaking. They were surprised that he was speaking to a woman. Udes, but no one, however, mentoi epen said, Tizetes, what are you looking for? What do you want? Or T, in this case, why are you speaking with her? Possibly this would be addressed to the woman. What do you want? And this would be addressed to Jesus. Why are you speaking with her? To talk with a woman in a public place was beneath the dignity of a rabbi, and one of the rabbis said, let no one talk with a woman in the street. No, not with his own wife. And that's why the disciples were surprised. Again, it's quite interesting when we look carefully at the what's stated in the context. We can learn some of these things for ourselves. And the question is, why were they surprised? And the reason is because it's not normally the done thing for a man to talk to a strange woman, especially a man of rank, like a rabbi, to talk to a strange woman in public. 28. Afeken un ten hudrian autes hegunai kai apelthen esten polin kai legetos anthropos. So afeken, and this comes from a verb which the base form of it is this. So you can see that on the back page of our reference sheet. And this is an aorist. Again, irregularly it has the K ending. Normally an S is characteristic of the aorist. So she left, then she left the hudrian, so hudor is water, and the ian ending, that was actually the same ending as we had in soteria, salvation, as we saw in a previous lesson, and the N indicates the object. What did she leave? She left the bucket, the thing with which she drew the water. Kai ap elthen. So this comes from ap erchamai. So ap is short for apo. So apo erchamai. So the O drops out and we get ap erchamai. And here we have the aorist. It started with an E and then another E is added to make it aorist, and so the two E's together join and are replaced by this letter. And she went off into the city and she says to the men, the people, so heedless of her bucket being stolen, probably a reasonably valuable item in that sort of society in that time, but she wanted to make the greatest speed. She's become quite impressed with this person, and she races off to tell the other people in the city, which is quite a good thing too. She's not keeping this news to herself. Jute idete, come, see. This word come, a different word for come, which is used like a second person plural imperative. Strictly speaking, it's not actually a verb, but it's used here as a verb, and it's going with this imperative, come, see. So that's plural imperative. See, all of you, anthropon, a man, hos epen moi, who said to me, panta hose epoesa, everything, whatsoever, everything, whatever, I did. Poesa. So this is a regular past aorist, the and then the S indicating that this is aorist, and the R for the first person singular. Everything that I did. Meti hutos estin ha Christos. Meti, is this the Christos, the Christ? So this is me, and then with a T but added to it that really doesn't add much to it. Now, May often introduces questions expecting the answer no, and we saw one of them earlier in this context. But here, I think we can see that there's a certain amount of hope expressed by her question. Perhaps inwardly, she had more hope than she dared to express. Could this be the Christ? And we won't go too much further with what happens, but if you read the story, you see that she certainly captured their interest. They all went to hear, and when they heard for themselves, they put their belief, their faith, and their trust in him, as the woman did. So this concludes our little series on this remarkable conversation between Jesus and a seemingly random woman that he met on a hot day, in the middle of a hot day, just sitting on the edge of a well in a little village in the despised country of Samaria. And Jesus, in a short conversation, well, perhaps the real conversation was longer than this, perhaps John has condensed it down a bit for us, but isn't it interesting how Jesus, from the conversation starting about being thirsty and wanting a drink of water, Jesus deftly turns the conversation to spiritual water and spiritual thirst, and how with his words he just touched something in the spirit, in the heart of these people, and convinced them to put their faith in him as the Christ, as the Messiah, as the Saviour of the world.